Mm. What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is Taco Tuesday, and now, Cowboys, are you trying to piss me off? This is one of the ones that I don't like. We've lost another free agent. And I will say that when we lost John Ridgeway, which was a guy we drafted, that's the kind of guy I wish we had on the team right now. Because when you have a guy who literally likes to crack heads, that's the kind of guy I want on the defensive line. So Jonathan Hankins, who was released by the Raiders. Now this is what I want you to understand: is people go through and they kill the Cowboys because they're not signing, a lot of big name players. Well, Jonathan Hankins, who was 32 years old, was let go by the Raiders. I think he was let go by the Raiders. Has been actually one of the best defensive linemen that we've had. Now, Osundigizua is really good. Don't get me wrong. But Osundigizua is a great guy, pass rusher with his hands and things, but he's light in the ass. He's about 280. Jonathan Hankins is a 300-pound guy. He is a run stopper. And that's one of the guys that you really need in there. The only thing with Jonathan Hankins is he's getting older. He still has tread on the tires and can still do some things, but he is getting older. As opposed to bringing in, say, Dontari Poe, like we had brought in, where we were excited because we looked at his body of work and his body being a wide body. Hankins ended up playing well. Well, turns out Hankins looks like he is going to the Seattle Seahawks and signing a contract with them. I'm curious to see how big of a contract it'll be, because that's one of those guys that I would have liked to have brought back. And I think he would have fit in with Mike Zimmer's defense, because Mike Zimmer believes in guys not fast and physical. He believes in big and physical. He wants some space eaters, guys that can clog up the middle. And so it'll be interesting to see what their plan is there. And so far, they're not believing in their guys, which I will say to you all, I want you to understand this. Stephen Jones has forever said, we believe in our own guys, right? We believe in our own guys. It's one of the reasons why he says they don't go in free agency. Well, apparently they're not believing their own guys because they're letting their own guys go. So I guess nobody. And we have rumors now that Stephon Gilmore, who is recovering from the shoulder surgery, wants to come back, but also has interest in going back to New England. And so we had 16 free agents, 16 spaces that we are going to have to replace. Now, and plus Leighton Vander Esch. Now, we have gotten ourselves a linebacker. We have brought back Jordan Lewis. That's only 2 of the 17 spaces. I guess C.J. Godwin would be 3. So 3 of the 17 spaces. So that's still 14 spots that they're going to have to fill in with not a lot of draft capital to work with. We're going to really need to have some guys step up. We are really and truly going to need to see some guys step up. And you now have to start thinking about are the Cowboys resetting the clock? Because the way it really works, and see, this is the problem that the Cowboys have had, is the whole cycle. Although some people seem to stay in the cycle of restarting the clock, the Bears seem to be constantly in there having to reset basically starting over. They're in purgatory. They drafted Mitch Trubisky. They ended up drafting Justin Fields, and now they're going to be getting, another quarterback. They keep drafting quarterbacks over and over. You say the Jets are perpetually in that same cycle. But the Cowboys, they've been kind of in the same cycle too. Good enough to compete, not good enough to win, but not bad enough to get game changers. And when you've seen what when the Cowboys have had down years, down year brought Zeke Elliott and Dak Prescott. Down year ended up bringing Micah Parsons. But when you're a playoff team, you're drafting so far back. You're drafting Cowboys 24 and what, 56? And then like 70 something. When you are the Bears, you're drafting 133, 33, 65. Yeah. And you're more apt to get players that are going to be impact players when you're drafting in the first top 10. And you're more apt to get guys that should be almost first round talent when you're drafting 33. And so the Cowboys' problem is they've been good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to go all the way. And that has actually hurt them going forward in trying to build a championship roster. And when you don't use free agency to get over the hump like other teams do, where you're going to get an impact player, you're just not getting those guys on a regular basis. So I don't know where we go from here. This is now another a big hole to fill. And see, having played nose guard, I've got love for the big guys. They don't have the big numbers like for fantasy football. You're only going to see, 20, 30, 40 tackles, maybe 3 or 4 sacks. And so most people just say, oh, man, that guy's a bum, man. He ain't doing stuff like, Micah Parsons. Well, the thing is, Micah Parsons becomes elite when you have guys that are really good there in the middle because they help. When Micah Parsons is getting double and triple teamed because the guys in the middle are ass, then there's a problem. But if you've got a guy who requires double teams or can drop the anchor and hold the line, then that makes the guys outside more effective because the quarterback can't step up or the guards can't get off to hit the linebackers. And so the linebackers can scrape and make the tackles. And this is the thing that most fans don't really understand, the nuances, so to speak, of how important the interior line is. People want to talk about, CD Lamb and look at his numbers and buy his jersey. The jerseys you need to buy are those guys in the middle that are guys like Chris Jones and the Aaron Donalds, because those guys, I don't know without those kind of guys on those teams that they're winning Super Bowls. It's really that important. So, Hankins, appreciate you for the 2 years you've been here. I wish you well in Seattle, except when you play against the Cowboys. I'm Mark Holmes, and I got to go mix me some cement. Peace.